Welcome to the Learning Hills with Vicky. Hello everyone, welcome back to our political science series. Today we will explore a very important chapter, Era of One-Party Dominance. This story begins after India became free in 1947, a time full of hope, hard decisions and history in the making. Let's dive in. Birth of democracy. After independence, many newly free countries gave up on democracy. But India did something bold and chose democracy, even though the country was poor and full of challenges. The constitution came into effect on 26 January 1950. Now it was time to hold the first general elections. That was not easy. India had 17 crore eligible voters. Most were poor and many were illiterate. The Election Commission, led by Sukumar Sen, had to prepare voter list and train 3 lakh officials. They even corrected mistakes like removing entries that listed women only as wife of or daughter of, ensuring dignity and identity. Finally, the first election was held from October 1951 to February 1952. Congress dominance. The Indian National Congress won big. Out of 489 Lok Sabha seats, it won 364. That's about 3/4. Why? Because it had led the freedom struggle. It was the only party with a strong organization, and it had Jawaharlal Nehru, the most popular leader of that time. Even in state elections, Congress dominated except in a few places like Travancore, Cochin, Madras, and Orissa, but eventually it ruled even there. Election system and voting. India uses the first past the post system. That means whoever gets the most votes in a seat wins, even without a majority. This helped the Congress. In 1952, it got only 45% votes but 74% seats because the opposition votes were split among many parties. Voting methods also changed over time, from steel ballot boxes in 1952 to paper ballots later, and finally EVMs by 2004. Rise of opposition. Even though Congress was dominant, opposition parties did exist. Communist Party of India (CPI) formed the first non-Congress government in Kerala in 1957. Socialist Party formed by leaders like Ram Manohar Lohia and Acharya Narendra Dev. Bharatiya Jana Sangh (BJS), predecessor of today's BJP, formed in 1951 by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. These parties did not win many seats but played an important role in keeping democracy alive by giving constructive criticism. Why Congress was strong? Unlike countries like China or Cuba, where one-party rule meant no democracy, India's Congress rule happened through free and fair elections. Congress was not just a party, it was like a coalition within itself. It included rich and poor, urban and rural, right and left ideologies. Instead of forming separate parties, different groups stayed inside Congress and formed factions. This kept political competitions inside the party itself. Factions and the Congress system. These factions were not a weakness, they were the real strength of the Congress. Different groups argued but stayed united. So the Congress acted as both the ruling party and the opposition. That's why political scientist Rajani Kothari called this the Congress system. A democratic miracle. The 1952 election was called the biggest gamble in history. Critics said democracy would fail in India, but they were wrong. The Indian people proved that even a poor, illiterate nation could uphold democracy with dignity. That election became a global inspiration. So friends, that was the story of how democracy took root in India. With one dominant party, many rising voices, and the deep trust of the people. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you found this helpful. Stay tuned for the next chapter, and remember, democracy is not just about votes, it's about voices. See you soon.